Okay, welcome Twitch. I'm going live a little early tonight. I think I normally, according to my schedule, I try to go live at 7 o'clock on Mondays, but today is the start of kind of a new chapter in my life. So this is officially, like, I know I've been like doing all kinds of things in stream since September, and it hasn't really been consistent, but I'm gonna really try to stick to my schedule that's posted in my description. And today I actually want to start offering tutoring services. So yeah, that starts today. So what I have here is in the meantime, and I'm still not very aggressively promoting my channel. So I don't know if we're gonna get any two T's tonight. I don't know if we're gonna have anybody asking any questions live, but I'm gonna go in and just start taking a course myself on Khan Academy. So I'm already like I'm registered here as a teacher, but I'm gonna go ahead and just start with Algebra 1. Like my goal is to reach, like let's just face it, right? And actually, I saw here. Let me back up a little. I think either NPR or PBS NewsHour. Let me check. Um, Somebody, one of the news channels that I follow on Twitter, had just talked about and posted an article the other day about math anxiety and how to make sure that you as a parent, if you suffered from math anxiety, that you don't pass it on to your children and have it adversely affect their math performance in school. So I don't know if it was PBS or if it was NPR, but I'm searching right now. I didn't read the article. I saw it and I kind of I thought I saved it for later, but I didn't. So I'm not finding it. But okay, so I'll look for it between breaks here. But essentially, right, I'm trying to reach folks that had a horrible experience in math, and I hope that through my channel I can offer something a little bit different, and also something that's in the same vein as Khan Academy. You go here when you want to take a course. You come to me when you're stuck and you need help. So to kind of practice what I preach, I'm going to go ahead and while I build an audience and just kind of during live chat here, if I don't have any questions, I'm just going to go through and practice what I preach and show you guys like how you might go about taking an online course, but also utilizing all of your tools available to you. So I'll be using a Wacom Intuos. This is the medium size Intuos, and it's the Bluetooth edition. So I'm currently wirelessly connected to my laptop that I'm streaming from. I'm also going to be using traditional, so occasionally I'll pause and then I'll go in and do a problem on paper and pencil. Actually, I'll be using pen though because for the purposes of getting my handwritten notes into the stream, pen will be more prominent and legible. And then also when I'm using the Wacom tablet, I'm going to be using OneNote. And if anyone who's been in my stream before has seen any of the tech demos that I've done, it's almost always with OneNote, or OneNote is a part of it. And you're also going to see me using my phone. I'm not like a lot of other teachers from the sense that like I got a real problem with teachers that don't ever ask their students to utilize mobile technology in the classroom. So I'm going to be using my phone. Oftentimes for the Office Lens app. Other times I'll be using graphing calculator apps. You might also see me, and I've done this before, where we've gone through and looked at the Overdrive service. We've looked at the Libby add-on to Overdrive. We might even go into RB Digital at times or Playbooks. RB Digital is something where we might go and look up magazines. If you're having trouble with, this is kind of an all-purpose tutorial or tutoring service. So if while I am certified to teach mathematics and I am certified in special ed in my state, if you're having trouble with research, we can research together. And RB Digital is so Overdrive and Libby are great resources for checking out books digitally from the library. But you do need a different app if it's like a magazine. So you might occasionally see me in stream use the RB Digital app as well. Because that's the app that my public library branches use to sorry, I just had That's the app that my library, my public libraries that I subscribe to, use for digital magazines, for their loans. So yeah, so without further ado, I'm just gonna kind of jump into it. And again, one of the things I need to do is, I'm new to this, so I've gotten my feet wet a few times a week, and then there have been weeks at a time where I've kind of been offline, just figuring things out in life. But I am gonna try to turn a new leaf, and I'm gonna try to be more consistent about this and offer free tutoring to the world. So here's Khan Academy. I highly recommend it. It's a great place to start learning if you had trouble with anything really. They got a lot of courses in Khan Academy. So he covers different subject areas, but I'm going to focus my stream primarily on math when I don't have viewers. And welcome if I do, if any of you are with me. But I'm going to go ahead and just kind of eat my own words. And so I'm not looking, and I apologize, like if there's anybody out there who's like, oh great, I'm taking calculus and stuff, I'm a little rusty, it's been a while since I've taught calculus or AP statistics. So it's well, if you do want help with that, I mean I could do it, but I would need you to send me the question ahead of time in the Discord server, because you know, when you haven't taught something in a while, it's most of those higher level mathematics, we operate on a use it or lose it perspective, and definitely it's been so long since I've taught anything higher level that I wouldn't feel comfortable just kind of cold answering questions in live during stream. But if you post questions in my Discord server ahead of time, that's great. But really what I want to focus on is that I'm really trying to reach that audience that just, for whatever reason, your mathematics experience in either high school or college just was not. Oh, and thank you for the host, Radiant Being. Everybody give Radiant Being a follow if you're in my stream right now. He is the man. He makes the world a better place. I'm not monetizing my channel, so if you feel so inclined to drip bits or donate or subscribe, please go to his channel and do so there, because that's something that he's really passionate about, a lot of the same things I am. He's done charity streams for suicide awareness organizations, and I'm a huge fan of him doing that. We need really good advocacy around mental health awareness and suicide prevention. So those are two issues that are important to him. And he's big on the education side too. He comes from a family of educators. And he also is passionate about like turning the school and education paradigm upside down, and I certainly want to try to be part of that with the service that I'm offering. So I'm just gonna jump into this. So you know, the sweet spot here is this early high school mathematics, the Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2. We might get into a little bit of the trigonometry and pre-calculus. Trigonometry kind of can be lumped into geometry. I don't know why he has a separate course for it here in Khan Academy. I mean, it kind of makes sense because, you know, part of trigonometry is introduced in the geometry course traditionally, and then the more advanced trigonometry is pushed into the pre-calculus courses. I haven't gone through Khan Academy's entirety of the high school mathematics curriculum, so this is going to be great, a great experience for me, since I'm kind of recommending this. And if you're taking some other class in an online platform and you need live help, like, come to me. If you're being homeschooled and your live sessions are not at a time that resonates with your schedule, come to me. I'm going to be offering this stream and service during the evenings, and then occasionally on Sundays, and I hope to stream regularly on Saturdays. But until we get any questions, and speaking of which, if you want help, I got a command. So there's a link right here, and if you go to this link, it shows you how to ask a question in stream. There are huge plugs for Microsoft all throughout what I'm doing here, but and so Sway, if for any of you not familiar with Sway, it's kind of a web service that's attached to Office. It's been available for about 5 or 6 years now, and what it does is it gives you a really simple way to create a web page without having to worry about any of the formatting. So when you click on that link, it should take you to this page, and this gives you a little thank you here. But then here, how to ask a question during live stream. This is a stacked group, and you can just kind of click here So steps are follow me on Twitch. You're right here. Also join my Discord server. That's going to be important if you want to ask a question live. So join the Discord server. Follow me on Twitch. And so during a live session in chat, let me know that you'd like to ask a question. And post that question to the Discord server. So there's a math questions channel. And it's right here under the tutoring channel. So you got math questions. So post an image of your questions to this channel. You can type it if you have to, but the beauty of technology nowadays is if you have the Discord app on your phone, just pull your phone out, take a picture of the question. It could be off screen if you want, or if you're using a computer, you could take a screenshot. If you're not familiar with how to do that, I could post some tutorials. I do plan on having a separate Sway page where I have some tutorials on how to accomplish some of these things here, but the simplest part is if you have a smartphone, install the Discord app, take a picture and post directly into the channel from the app. You can also do it from a computer if you're familiar with how to take screenshots. And then optionally, if you want to chat, voice chat while I'm answering a question, so go ahead and join the general voice chat channel. It's right here, and then I'll move you over to live intervention where we can talk and the viewers can hear you and you can hear me, etc., etc. And then finally, when we've concluded the discussion, so this is again, this is a new procedure for me, so what I want to do is I want to try to be good about doing this as well, but if I forget, the last part is I do have a section in my Discord server for you to save clips. So if you've asked the question and we've concluded, there is a channel here, and I don't have a screenshot of this, but I'll go ahead and move this onto the screen right here so you can see. Let me just bring up Streamlabs again. I got a lot of windows open here. So there's a channel here for you to save a clip of, and it could be of the entirety of our interaction together. So while I'm answering your question, you could clip it and then put the link here. And then if you just simply mention yourself, then it'll be searchable within the Discord server for whenever you need to come back to it. So that's just, and that's optional. That's just in case you want to come back to it later on. Okay, so and then I'll revise this way so that I include a screenshot of that. So that's how to ask a question. I know it's a little bit complicated, and who knows where this is going to take me. I might end up having to switch streaming platforms to like perhaps YouTube or another streaming platform if in order to grow my audience. But I don't know where this is going to go. But let's go back. I'm in Algebra 1, and you can see here I'm starting blank here, and I'm not going to bull rush through this. I certainly could go through this very quickly because this is something that I've taught math for a really long time. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to kind of model what it would be like if you were to take an online course, and it could be in mathematics or it could be in something else, but I just kind of want to show you how today's technology can play a role in doing this from home, because I think a lot of us just don't realize how much we can do with our mobile technology to help us when we're taking online classes. And feel free, any viewers, feel free to just interrupt me and just pop in and chat and let me know that you have a question, and I'll do the best I can to answer it. But in the meantime, let's just kind of go into Algebra Foundations. So we'll get started here. I will skip his videos, okay? So, and then how do we get rid of... I don't want to donate at all. Can I, oh, here we go. There it is. Okay. Let's get more real estate here. So I am going to skip his videos, or perhaps just play through them and play through them on mute, because I just want to go through, or maybe I shouldn't mute them. You know what? Let's let him play.
What I want to do in this video is think about the origins of algebra. The origins
we don't have time to sit through 7
algebra.
minutes of that. So,
and the word, especially in a
it's probably really fascinating stuff. And this is probably
you'll hear me use the word abstract a lot, so I thought I would actually give you an attempt at a definition, or maybe even more important, an intuition of what abstract means. An abstract, it can be an...
Sorry, I'm hopping around here because a lot of these are all videos. So you can see here
It can be an adjective. You can have an
page is there. The course is organized. We have all of the assets for the particular lesson are here. So we have a series of videos, and I think they're all probably fewer than 10 minutes. And we probably should watch these, because if I want to model to you guys what it would be like to, yeah, we probably should model these. But maybe we just go to the transcript instead. Can we power read through this? You know what? Let's play.
Abstract idea.
Let's play and take
You can
notes.
have abstract art, or it can be a verb. You can abstract something, abstract the idea from some other idea. And you can even have it as a noun. You can have an abstract, and it tends to, when you use it as a noun, the one that I tend to associate is the abstract of a research paper, which is kind of distills the essence of the research paper. It's kind of a summary of that paper. And the one thing you're going to see, regardless of what context you use the word abstract, there's this kind of notion of taking the essence of a real world, of a real world object, whether you use it as a noun, an adjective, or a verb. So over here we have our real world. We have our real world. And then over here you have your world of, you have ideas and concepts. And the general idea behind abstraction, or abstracting something, is you're taking it away from the particular concrete real world, and you're going more in the direction of ideas and concepts. And probably for me, one of the most tangible ways of thinking about abstraction, which is kind of a contradiction in itself to think of abstraction in a tangible way, is things like geometric shapes. So if I were to tell you, find me some cubes, you might point to a Borg vessel right over there. A Borg vessel. You might point to maybe a pair of dice. So let me draw the pair of dice if you are looking for cubes. So you might point to a pair of dice that looks something like that. You might point to a Rubik's Cube, anything that you could find. There might be a building that looks like a cube. There might be a building that looks like a cube. Or maybe there's a box in your house that is a cube. But in your mind, you have a general idea of what a cube is. You're like, well, I know a cube when I see one. And that general idea is essentially distilling the concept, the idea of what a cube is. All of these things are very different. This is some plastic thing that I can hold in my hand. These are these little white things, and they're not even, geometrically even close to being perfect. They have these little divots on the side right over there. This is a large Borg vessel that, it doesn't even exist yet. It's not, obviously it's a fictional thing. But they all have this cubeness to them. And this is one of the fun things of geometry, is to really distill the essence of these real world shapes. And we do have a definition in geometry, which is an object like this. I guess you could have an object like this, where every side has the exact same length. So if this is length 1, then that would be length 1, that is length 1. But it doesn't have to be. Whatever the length this side is in this dimension, then in this dimension it's going to be that length, and in that dimension it's going to be in that length. And I'm not giving you the rigorous geometric definition, but I'm just trying to highlight that there is a pure idea of what a cube is. And in the real world, there is nothing that is actually a perfect cube. If you were to get really, really close to these die, if you were to really try to measure exactly their measurements, they won't be exactly the same measurement. But the abstract idea of a cube, this is completely the same length as this, and actually this, and all of the edges are going to have the exact same length. So this is going from the concrete, the specific, from the real world, if you consider the 24th or 25th century the real world, to going to the idea behind it, the general idea. And you've probably also heard the word abstract in terms of art, like abstract art. So this is abstract art. And it's the same general idea. If you look it up on a dictionary, you're going to find 20 definitions of the word abstract, but it's all essentially trying to say the same thing. Abstract art is art that is not focused on trying to paint reality the exact way that reality exists. If you look at kind of a lot of Renaissance art. They're skilled at painting figures exactly how they look in the real world. But the abstract artists, sometimes they're not even trying to even represent anything that's in the real world. They're trying to represent a raw idea, or they're trying to represent a raw expression of color and form and texture. And this is a Jackson Pollock painting right over here, and I pronounce many things wrong. This was taken by our own Stephen Zucker, art historian. And as you can see, it's not clear. Jackson Pollock is not trying to paint, a dog or a horse or anything like that. He is painting something that is devoid. It's completely independent of anything that we actually see in physical reality. And the word abstraction, it doesn't just apply to pure geometry and art. It applies to almost everything that we do on a daily basis. When we even talk about things, when we even use words or use symbols, we're essentially abstracting away. We're abstracting the essence of something that actually exists in physical reality. So if I use the word dog, it's a set of symbols. This set of symbols represents something in our minds that we associate with dog. We have in our minds kind of the qualities of what a dog actually is. It has 4 legs and floppy ears, and you enjoy petting it, and they're man's, or I guess people's, best friend. You imagine this thing called a dog. And it has the essence of dogness, even though when you actually look at dogs in the real world, they look very, very, very different types of animals. Whether you're looking at a Great Dane or a kind of a super small poodle, but we recognize there's an essence of those particulars that we can abstract away and say this is a dog. And then we abstract it even more by representing these letter symbols that tend to conjure up this image, even when we write something as simple as a number. So if I write the number 5, we use it so frequently that to us, a number 5 seems kind of like a concrete thing, but it's so abstract. It's just a quantity of things. I could have symbolized it like that. I could have symbolized 5 like that. I could have symbolized 5 in Roman numerals like that. I can symbolize it like that. And in all of these cases, it's the idea of a quantity of 5 things. 5, if we were, you could say point me to a 5, someone would probably point you to something like that, but they're still pointing you to the symbol of 5. But it's still a very, very abstract idea. So hopefully this gives you an appreciation for what abstract means. As you can tell, it's kind of a, for lack of a better word, it's kind of an abstract idea. Not to be too cute about that.
So we're gonna pause and we're gonna think about. So I was trying to take some notes, and I was stopping, and I was thinking about okay, so
before we get into the meat of algebra, I wanted to give you a quote from one of the greatest minds.
Okay, so yeah, so Sal Khan really passionate about the abstract concepts in mathematics. So that's what that whole video was about, kind of thinking about real world applications and then concepts. And when we abstract things, we want to think about things broadly and generally, and try to define and have precise definitions that give us fidelity across situations. Wait, what happened here? Sorry, I think I may have just lost my phone display. No, I didn't. Did I? I did. Okay, so hang on. So I appreciate the enthusiasm from him, but there wasn't a whole lot for me to, as someone who's already familiar with kind of the idea of the abstract concepts of mathematics, there wasn't a whole lot for me to do there. And good students don't necessarily take notes on everything. You definitely want to make sure that you're, there we go, there's my phone, in case I need it. You definitely want to make sure that you're kind of addressing the places that are new to you, or places that you might struggle with. So I get the idea of the abstractness. So when we sit down and try to think about the definition of what a cube is, we can go out in the real world and see examples where cubes exist, and they're tangible, and it's visceral when you roll dice. And what happens when you have a die that's not fair? Lots of things can make a die that's unfair. So we can weight them so that there's a higher likelihood, an increased likelihood that they roll a particular number, or perhaps the die is not cubical. If it's six-sided, it may not be a perfect cube, so there might be an edge that's longer than the rest. So it's not a fair die, so to speak. So yeah, I was just kind of trying to take some notes, and then we got into the thing about a dog, and I'm like, yeah, he's right. The whole concept of dog can be abstract from the sense that there are lots of different breeds of dog. So what are the biological definitions of what constitutes a dog? But I'm gonna skip again. So we're gonna skip the beauty of algebra. We are going to jump into the introduction to the coordinate plane. And hopefully we don't, because I'd like to get into a section that has some practice. I don't want to skip too much, and this is an 11-minute
This right here
video,
is a picture of René Descartes, once again one of the great minds in both math and philosophy, and I think...
Yeah, and you know what? We don't have time for this. So let's go back to foundations. And let's jump straight to the meat. Like, I appreciate like the history. I appreciate the overview. We're not here to go over that. So I would encourage anybody to go into Khan Academy if you're interested in watching those videos, and go to the Algebra 1, click on Foundations, and then watch all those videos, because that's like another hour and a half perhaps, or 40 minutes, 50 minutes worth of video that we don't have time for tonight. So let's go into this introduction into variables. And let's see, how long is this video?
Let's say that I'm working in a restaurant and I'm making $10 per hour.
Go for it,
but on top of my hourly wage, I also get tips each hour. So this entire expression, you can view this as how much I might make in a given hour. Now, you might also realize that the number of tips or the amount of tips I might make in an hour can change dramatically from hour to hour. It can vary. 1 hour, it might be lunchtime, get a lot of tips, people might get some big ticket items. The next hour, I might not have any customers, and then my tips might be really low. So the tips part right over here, we consider that, the entire word, we consider that to be a variable. From scenario to scenario, it can change. So for example, in one scenario, maybe it's lunchtime, I'm getting really big tips. So tips is equal to, let's say it's equal to $30. And so the total amount I might make in that hour is going to, we can go back to this expression right over here. It's going to be 10 plus, instead of writing tips here, I'll write 30, because that's what my tips are in that hour. And so that is going to be equal to, it's going to be equal to 40. Let me do that. Let me do it in that yellow color. It's going to be equal to $40. But let's say right after that, the restaurant slows down, we're out of the lunch hour for whatever reason. Maybe the restaurant next door has a big sale or something. And so the next hour, my tips go down dramatically. My tips go down to $5 for that hour. Now I go back to this expression. The total I make is my hourly wage plus the $5 in tips, plus the $5 in tips, which is equal to $15. As you see, this entire expression, the 10 plus tips, it changed depending on what the value of the variable tips is. Now, you won't see whole words typically used in algebra as variables. We get lazy, and so instead we tend to use easier to write symbols. And so in this context, instead of writing tips, maybe we could have just written 10.
So until I get an audience of people that actually need help, so this is the first time I've gone live to actually offer online tutoring, and so I'm just going through some Khan Academy courses and just showing folks how they might integrate personal technology and all kinds of things. So right now I'm running Windows 10 and I'm using OneNote, and I've split my screen. Now normally I would just have Khan Academy full screen on one monitor, and I'd have OneNote full screen on the other one, but you know, since we're streaming here, I'm just splitting the window. But thank you for being here. And I'm just kind of trying to model good behavior here. So while it's tempting for me to just jump into the part of the course where there's practice problems, I'm trying to watch some of his introduction videos and show you guys where we can do things like take notes. So for instance, one of the things I did in the previous video that we just finished watching, and I'll do it when he's done with this, is I'll show you guys how to take a screenshot into OneNote. You might already know how to do that, but I'll take a screen clipping and put it right into OneNote. So let me just let this video play. There's another minute.
Plus t, where t represents the tips that we get in an hour. So then we would say, okay, what happens when t is equal to 30? Well, if t is equal to 30, then we'd have let me write, so what happens when t is equal to 30? Well, then we have a situation, t is equal to 30. This evaluates to 10 plus 30, which would be 40. What would happen if t is equal to 5? Well, then this would evaluate to 10 plus 5, which is equal to 15.
He's doing a lot of erasing.
I want to be clear. We didn't even have to use t. We didn't even really have to use a letter, although in traditional algebra, you almost do use a letter. We could have written it as 10 plus x, where x is your tips per hour. X might not be as natural. It's not the first letter in the word tips. Or you could have even written 10 plus star, where you could say star represents the number of tips in an hour. But it just might have not made as much intuitive sense. But hopefully this gives you a general idea of just what a variable is. All it is a symbol. All it is a symbol that represents varying values, and that's why we call it a variable.
All right, so let's pause here. I am going to backtrack him just a little bit. Ooh, come on, Khan Academy. I hit pause. Okay, so let's go back.
We now hopefully know a little bit about variables.
I need to turn off autoplay. Wow, this page is just crapping the bed on me. Okay, so what I was trying to do was get to the end of that video. So let me time slip it close to the end here.
All it is a symbol that represents varying.
And turn off the caption or the subtitles. There we go. Because what I want is, so little thing here about, so one of the first streams that I did was I showed the difference between OneNote Online, OneNote 2016, which is built into Office 2016, and then OneNote, the Windows 10 app. What you see on screen here is the Windows 10 version of OneNote. I'm largely not going to use the 2016 version of OneNote anymore. It's still wonderful. It's still fabulous. It still does some things that this version of OneNote doesn't do, so it's a little bit frustrating for me. But what I don't like to do is I don't like to hang on to things that are going to disappear. And one of the things that's going to happen is when Microsoft updates, and I'm looking for it right now. Let's just search. That's not it. One of the things that's going to happen is I think this month or next month, nobody really knows, but when Microsoft updates the Office suite, so Office 2019 is almost upon us. Yeah, there's 2013 and then there's 2016 as well. Oops, I got you. And so if you have an Office 365 subscription, which I paid for one, a personal subscription, family subscription really, so that I could share the subscription across different members of the family. But also if you're a student that has an Office 365 subscription at the organization level, then you can upgrade to Office 2016 as part of that service and subscription. One of the things that's going to happen, so whether you're like me and you have a personal Office subscription or if you have an organization subscription, the moment Office 2019 becomes available, you can upgrade. Now, that's kind of a long-winded thing to get to where we are now, and it's like, what does that have to do with OneNote? Well, because they're not going to include a version of OneNote with Office 2019. The Windows 10 version of OneNote is going to be the one installed version from this point forward. The online version of OneNote will continue to function. Yeah. So and if you're curious about that, so oops, I got you. I don't know if you have a subscription or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna go to office.com. So if you are a student or if your workplace, you might have an employer that's got a subscription for you. If you have an Office 365, like for instance, if you use Outlook as your web client, and throughout the day when you're checking your email, if you're checking your email and it mentions stuff about like you have an Office 365 subscription, no, so they are going to update OneNote, but they're going to update OneNote 2000, the Windows 10 version of OneNote. And I'm trying to, my brain's not multitasking very well, so I'm saying one thing and then I'm trying to think about 3 or 4 other things. So let me just get into this real quick. And then I need to pause and actually look for it. So the version of OneNote that's not going to update is the part that comes with Office. So now forgive me because I have a new laptop, so I don't know where OneNote 2016 is. It might not be on this laptop yet. Because when you have the Office suite, for instance, so I've got Word, I've got PowerPoints, I've got Publisher and Excel. This is all part of my Office subscription. And then I have just OneNote. So when you see the version of OneNote that comes with Office, it is the version that's 2016. So okay, so let me go back to this. So I'm in a web browser right now. I went to office.com. I signed into my account. So here I am right here. Okay, and if you are a student, you can sign into your university account, or if you're a public school student, you would sign into your student account as well, whatever organization you have. Now, from the splash page, there's an installation link right here. So if you have an Office 365 subscription, whether it's through an organization or a personal one, you can click on this install link, and then it'll open a new tab. And you can install Office. So right here, we launch this installation. It's not going to have to do a whole lot. No, I don't know why. It's going 32-bit. This should be 64-bit. So yeah, I don't know why. And then you can choose monthly or the Insider channel if you want. But I'm going to go 64-bit. I don't know why. It was a little bit weird that it offered the 32-bit. But either way, like the exe file to initiate the online installation is very small. So let's go ahead and send this to our downloads. Yeah, I literally just bought this laptop on Thursday or Friday. So the laptop that I previously had streamed from already had this other version of Office on it. So that's why I can't just easily just launch it and show you the difference between the two. Now, what started that whole conversation now, like I'm often known in the classroom to be able to go on long tangents, and it's because there are like a lot of connected things in the world. And that was this, right? So I was here. I can remember where the heck I came from. So this is where I was in Khan Academy. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to take this screenshot. Now, I know the shortcut key where I can easily do that from... oh, look at OneNote just kind of flipping out on me. Let me change pages real quick and then come back. Okay, so I wanted to take just a screenshot of his notes into here, which I can do with shortcut keys. Now, Office, that's the frustrating part about OneNote Windows 10. The Windows 10 version of OneNote does not offer this from the insert menu. Office 2016 like has an actual place in your insert menu where it would just let you insert a screenshot so that you wouldn't have to remember shortcut keys. Now, I happen to know the shortcut key, but shortcut keys aren't for everybody. So we're going to go ahead and install Office, and I'll show you where that's at. I wish I could move or dismiss this window. Okay, I'm going to dismiss this window. So I'm going to show you what. So if the shortcut key is Windows Shift S, so I'm going to hold Windows Shift and then press the S button. You're going to see the whole display go gray. And you're going to see my cursor change to this target, this crosshairs. So all you have to do is click and drag a rectangle over exactly what you want screen clipped. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And what didn't happen is it didn't go directly into OneNote. What it did was it put that screen clip into my clipboard. So now I go back and I paste this. So it's a couple of extra steps, depending on your affinity for shortcut keys. When Office installs and finishes installing, we'll have another version of OneNote here in my programs menu, and then I'll show you how that works in Office 2016. Um, I think it's there in Office 2013. So oops, I got you. If you don't have a subscription and you can't upgrade to Office 2016, it might be in 2013. It's probably almost definitely not in 2010 though. Although I could be wrong. I'm not too familiar with OneNote 2010. So okay, rather than wait for this update's probably going to take another half hour, if not longer. Let's continue in Khan Academy. So remember, it was, and I'll go ahead and put this. Let's make a note here that it was Control-Shift-S that we use, and let's go to one of our glitter pens. I love the glitter pens in Office, and here's the thing that the Windows 10 version of OneNote does that the 2016 doesn't. Neither does the online version. So all of these glitter pens, which are freaking awesome, we have a number of glitter pens. There's a rainbow, there's galaxy, lava, oceanic, and then we have 4 different variants of metallic gradients. I think they're really cool. You're only going to get them in the Windows 10 version of OneNote. So, well, let's go ahead and use our rainbow glitter pen. And I'll make a note here. This was Windows Shift S. And we're going to go back to Sal Khan's lesson page, and then what was it next? Why aren't we using the multiplication sign? That's a good question.
In algebra, or really in all of mathematics, is the variable x. Although all of these are used to some degree. But given that x is used so heavily, it does introduce a slight problem. And that problem is, it looks a lot like the multiplication symbol, or the one that we use in arithmetic. So in arithmetic, if I want to write 2 times 3, I literally write 2 times 3. But now that we're starting to use variables, and if I want to write 2 times x, well, if I use this as the multiplication symbol, it would be 2 times x, and the times symbol and the x look awfully similar. And if I'm not really careful with my penmanship, it can get very confusing. Is this 2xx? Is this 2 times something? What exactly is going on here? And because this is confusing, this right over here is extremely confusing, and it can be misinterpreted, we tend to not use this multiplication symbol when we are doing algebra. Instead of that, to represent multiplication, we have several options. Instead of writing 2 times x this way, we could write 2
I can't spell the void.
2 dot x. And this dot, I want to be very clear. This is not a decimal. This is written a little bit higher, and we write this so we don't get confusion between this and one of these variables right here. But this really can be interpreted as 2 times x. So for example, if someone says 2 dot x, what is 2 dot x when x is equal to 3? Well, this would be the same thing as 2 times 3 when x is equal to 3. Another way that you could write it is you could write 2, and then you could write the x in parentheses right next to it. This is also interpreted as 2 times x. Once again, so if in this situation x were 7, this would be 2 times 7, or 14. And then the most traditional way of doing it is to just write the x right after the 2. And sometimes this will be read as 2x. But this literally does mean 2 times x. And you might say, well, how come we didn't always do that? Well, it would be literally confusing if we did it over here. If we just wrote, instead of writing 2 times 3, we just wrote 2, 3, well, that looks like 23. This doesn't look like 2 times 3, and that's why we never did it. But here, since we're using a letter now, it's clear that this isn't part of that number. This isn't 20-something. This is 2 times this variable x. So all of these are really the same expression. 2 times x, 2 times x, and 2 times x. And so with that out of the way, let's try a few worked examples, a few practice problems, and this will hopefully prepare you for the next exercise where you get a lot of chance to practice this. So if I were to say what is 10 minus 3y, and what does this equal when y is equal to 2? Well, every time you see the y, you'd want that 2 there. So this is when y is equal to 2. Let's set that y equal to 2. This is the same thing. This is the same thing as 10 minus 3 times 2. You do the
I'm gonna pause him
multiplication
here because my notes are a little bit different than his, and that's okay when you're in school, right? So, and again, welcome. It looks like we're getting some viewers in here. So, I'm on a mission to become a free tutor to the world. So welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. And what I'm doing is until I get some people actually asking help live in the stream, I'm just going and taking myself through Khan Academy courses and showing how I would utilize technology at home to kind of take the course. And I'll bounce between technologies. So right now I'm using OneNote, the Windows 10 version of OneNote, to take my notes as I watch through Sal Khan's videos. I will occasionally just get out a piece of paper and take notes this way, and you're going to see how that intersects with OneNote as well. And then there'll be other times when we might just go completely within the platform because Khan Academy has been well upgraded to give you some tools that you can draw. But yeah, welcome. And if you want to ask a question, if you came here to ask for help, there's a link here. So let me, I got a help command, and you can always, it'll bring up this link. That gives you instructions on how to ask a question. So you'll need to join my Discord server. You'll need to post the question there into the math question. In fact, let me check the Discord server right now. Yeah, you'll need to join the Discord server. Put an image of the question there. You can also type the question in there. I will screen clip your question into OneNote and then answer it. If you want to chat with me live while we're doing that, you can also join the I got a chat room, so you can join the general chat room in the Discord server, and then I'll move you over to the live intervention channel. So anyway, so welcome. Thank you for being here. So my notes are a little bit different than Sal Khan's. I was trying to basically follow his and then put my own spin on them so they make sense to me. So he's talking about why the absence of the X symbol for multiplication in algebra is so abundant, and it's because of the confusion with the variable x, how it's overused. So we frequently use the dots, we frequently use parentheses, or we frequently just ignore spaces and everything. We have a variable with its coefficient, and that also represents multiplication. So I went ahead and just added my own little spin on his notes, which you should be doing in school. So let's go ahead and continue.
Multiplication takes precedence in order of operations. So 3 times 2 is 6. 10 minus 6. 10 minus 6 is equal to 4.
He's actually doing.
Let's do another one. Let's say that we had, I don't know, 7x minus 4. And let me do that.
I'll try to catch up.
Green color. 7x minus 4, and we want to evaluate that when x is equal to 3. Where when we see the x, we want to put a 3 there. So this is the same thing as 7 times 3. 7, and I'll actually use this notation because I can use that with numbers. 7 times 3 minus 4. And once again, multiplication takes precedence by order of operations over addition or subtraction. So we want to do the multiplying first. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 minus 4 is equal to 17. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of background, and really encourage you to try the next exercise. It'll give you a lot of practice on being able to evaluate expressions like this.
All right, so hang on, let's dismiss that before it goes on to the next one, because it's just going to play the next video, like it or not. So again, here we go. Let me check the Office install. Okay, it's still going. Where did I want to go next? I knew I wanted to do something special next, and I forgot what it was. Oh, let's, no, not the phone. I was thinking about my phone here. There's nothing I need to do with my phone quite yet. Okay, well, let's just play on. Let's play on. So you can see here, so take a look at the symbols in Khan Academy. video, video, video. So when you see the play button, so this is actually practice right here when you see the little worksheet symbol. So let's watch one more video. Hopefully it's not very long.
A local hospital is holding a raffle as a fundraiser.
It's 2 minutes. Okay, so let me make a new page in OneNote. We're ready for this. So we're going to go. I'm not going to put the whole title in there. Just we're going to go evaluating expressions.
The individual cost of participating
And hang on here.
in the raffle is
Go away, energy points. Okay, so I don't. So here's what I want to do. And this you can think this is cheating if you want. It's not. I'm gonna go ahead and do the screen clip. So Windows Shift S, because I ain't trying to type all this. I'm gonna catch up to him. So that goes to the clipboard, and then I can paste it into OneNote. Simple. Okay. Windows Shift S. So we're gonna go ahead and click play. Let him go and
given by the following expression: 5t plus 3, or 5 times t plus 3, where t represents the number of tickets someone purchases. Evaluate the expression when t is equal to 1, t is equal to 8, and t is equal to 10. So let's first take the situation where t is equal to 1. Then this expression right over here becomes, and I'll use that same color, it becomes 5 times 1, 5 times 1 plus 3. 5 times 1 plus 3. And we know from order of operations, you do the multiplication before you do the addition. So this will be 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3. And then this is clearly equal to, 8. Now let's do it when t is equal to 8. So when t is equal to 8, this expression becomes, and I'll do the same colors again, 5 times 8, 5 times 8 plus 3, same color of green, plus 3. And once again, 5 times 8 is 40, and then we have the plus 3 there, so this is equal to 43. And so we have the last situation with t is equal to 10. I'll do that in blue. So we have 5 times 10. So 5t is 5 times 10. Instead of a t, we put a 10 there. 5 times 10 plus 3. That's a slightly different shade of green, but I think you get the idea. 5 times 10 is 50. We do 50, and then we're going to have to add 3 to that. And that is equal to 53. And we're done.
Okay, so next up is actual practice. This is what I was after. This is practice? No, this is actually just a worksheet. These are additional examples. Aha, so here's a less practice. Problem number 1. Now, if you are doing something similar to this, if you're actually taking a Khan Academy course, here's one thing you could do. You could have Discord opened if you were to ask a question. So you could have Discord open. You can be in the math questions section. There's a snipping tool that's built into Windows. It's been there since Windows 7. So I'm going to go Start. And we're going to go Run. Okay, we're going to open the command line. So Snipping Tool is what you want to type. And this is a little bit different than the Screen Clip tool. The Screen Clip tool is part of Office. The Snipping tool is built into Windows. So here's one way to take a screenshot. We got a snipping tool here, and we're going to click New. And again, whole screen goes blank. Drag a rectangle over what you want to screen clip. And then from here, you can mark this up before we save it. So we do have some editing tools here. So you have some basic pen tools. You have highlighters. There's an eraser if you screw up. You can even go into Paint 3D if you want to edit this with some more advanced options. We're not going to go there today. But let's just go ahead and save this. So when it's done, you can save the snip. And I'll just put it in my downloads. I'm not going to save this to my OneDrive. You can name it whatever you want. And when you get there, from the Discord server, I don't know what happened here. You're going to add an attachment. Oops, sorry, my file select window went somewhere else. And then if you want, you can say having trouble with this. And then we click upload. And what I can do is during the stream, we'll split this again. Actually, let's just go full screen OneNote. Is me from Discord. I can go ahead and clip this into OneNote and start answering your question. So this is basically what I'm going to do. Oh, look at that. Office is done. Asking for our phone number. We'll tell it to piss off. Ooh, let's see what it brought us. I'm curious. Do we have OneNote 2016? Ooh, look at that. So it didn't include OneNote 2016. Okay, so I will work on that. Oops, ooh, didn't mean to click that. I will work on that before the next stream. I'll get OneNote 2016 installed on this bad boy, and we'll oh, look at you! You took away a bunch of my shortcuts. See, I had PowerPoint pinned, and I had Outlook pinned. So let's pin these things. Pin to start. Oops, I didn't mean to open it. Okay, go away, Outlook. Okay, so I'll fix that later. Let's get to our practice problems. All right, so Khan Academy. Oh, hi, that's a great question. So we can get into that. Let me answer this one Khan Academy question, and then we'll look at the mobile version of OneNote. I'm not too familiar with it. I used to avoid it like the plague for one specific reason that has nothing to do with whether or not it's good. So I'll get to that in a moment. All right, so let's screen clip this problem here, and I'm just going to go through this. So within Khan Academy's interface, you have some hints here that you can go through, the hint system. I'm not going to use it. We're going to go ahead and say z equals 4. So we're looking at the expression, and I'm just going to write it myself. 9 minus z for when z equals 4. A lot of us in math put that extra bar in the z so that we don't confuse it with a 2. So we're going to make our substitution here. So we're going to call this 9 minus 4. And this expression is going to equal 5. Okay. Now, the app. Oops, I got you. Let's go back to my phone. And I'm disconnected here. Okay, so I have to relaunch it. Visor's been having issues lately. But that's okay. I can always just relaunch the phone. All right. Let's get a side-by-side. So I'm going to go... this again on the right hand pane, you're going to see OneNote 2010. Not 2010, did I misspeak? The Windows 10 version of OneNote. On the left side of this, you see my phone. So let's see here, because this notebook here that's titled Live with Glitter, you can see is stored in my OneDrive cloud space. So what I'm going to do on my phone is I'm going to launch the OneNote app, and I actually can do this with my keyboard and mouse too. And I'm also using my actual phone. So we're going to launch OneNote. We're going to go into the same notebook. So the section I'm in is Live Intervention, and you can see here it's so we've got the same section. I'm going to go to the same page, Practice Problems. And we can see the problem that I just did. So if I turn this sideways, we go landscape here. So that, I mean, that's pretty cool. But I wonder about the synchronization. So let's test something out here. I'm going to go back. Let's click on next question. Okay. And really quickly here, I'm going to wondering how to best do this. Oh, I know what. Here, let's resize this window. No, not you. Sorry, I just want to resize OneNote so that I can show my phone at the same time as well. There's probably a quicker way to do this, because I think there are some shortcuts to do quadrant windows. And I hope that's enough here. Okay, so you're going to see my phone as well. And I think the app is good. So like to answer your question directly, oops, I got you. I think the app is good. I avoid it though because like I got so used to like the other features of OneNote, both the Windows 10 version of it and the 2016 version of it, that I just didn't bother with the mobile app. There is another app, however, that I encourage everybody, whether or not you have an Office subscription, everybody should have Office Lens. And we can go over that in another stream, or we can go over it later tonight. But let's do a quick test here. So I'm going to go back into my screen clipping tool. So I'm going to Windows Shift S. We're going to clip problem 2, and I'm going to paste it. And I wonder, so what I want to know is how quickly does this show up on my phone? So the screen you want to watch is this one on the lower right. And maybe let me mute my camera for a moment, just for a moment. Can I? Uh-oh. Okay, Streamlabs is a little wonky here because I can't see where I would mute my webcam. So okay, but what we want to watch is we want to watch this section here. I'm going to paste the practice problem up here into OneNote 2010. I said 2010 again. OneNote Windows 10, the Windows 10 version of OneNote, and I want to know how quickly it shows up on my phone. That was pretty fast. So you see here on my phone, like it happened pretty quickly. It only took a couple of seconds for that synchronization to happen. So I'm actually impressed with this. The real-time updates between all the versions of OneNote used to leave something to be desired. But that actually happened pretty quick. So let's do this. Let's on the phone. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to launch. This is your pen tool right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And I don't know why the phone. What are you doing? So it turned portrait on me. I wanted, okay, so let's just minimize everything here. I want to focus on just the phone real quick. So let's put the phone back up in the center of the screen. Sorry for the Eye of Sauron if that disturbs you. Oh, okay, so there's a little, there's a tutorial here. So inking with a stylus, use one finger to scroll and pan around the page. Or inking with your finger, use 2 fingers to scroll and pan around the page. Okay, so that's useful. Okay, so let's turn this back landscape rather than portrait. Okay, so what we can do here is we can pick A color pen, you can decide on a thickness too. I don't want this to be too thick, but also don't want it to be in a boring gray. So let's go with green, and then let's see what this looks like. So I'm just going to, and can we maximize this? Does that look any better? Okay, let's enable full screen. Okay, so let's try this. So 2 fingers to scroll around, then 1 finger to draw when I have the pen active. So I'm going to go 9 minus Z. Oops, let's erase that. That was bad. And Z is 8. So we're going to go 9 minus 8. Ooh, that was terrible 9. You can always erase. And so the eraser by default is a stroke eraser, which is cool because it would be frustrating to draw something and then have to scrub every single pixel out of it with the eraser. So it's a stroke eraser by default unless you change it and turn it into the pixel eraser. So that makes it much easier to fix your mistakes. Okay, and then this is 1. So, I mean, you decide for yourself. Oops, I got you. And I think this is pretty good, right? Now, I will tell you, I'll give you full disclosure. The reason why I used to avoid, hang on, I'm trying to figure out how to exit full screen here. Maybe I just hit escape. Okay, good. So, the reason why I used to avoid the OneNote app like the plague was because as a teacher, not having to type necessarily. I think handwriting still has its place in the world, and one of the concerns about like the advancements of computer technology is like where's the handwriting going to go, and the handwriting can easily come back thanks to these touch screens that we have in our lives right now. And so I don't recommend this on phones that are smaller, right? So if you don't have a phone that's at least like, I'd have to say like a 5-inch screen is probably as small as I would go. It's probably going to be really difficult to use OneNote for handwriting if your phone's not like a 5-inch screen or bigger. This is a Moto Z2 Play, so I think it's a 5.7-inch screen or 5.5-inch screen if I'm not mistaken. So I don't remember the exact dimensions of my phone. So I think it's just big enough to be able to do something like that, what I had just done with comfortably, and also to be able to just scroll with 2 fingers without having to change and exit your pen tool, I think is pretty convenient too. So yeah, I'd say the verdict on that is it's great. Now the reason why I avoided it with like the plague is because like I use OneNote all the time as a teacher. Like it's my duct tape. I do everything with it. Like I don't write on the whiteboard. I use OneNote. And then I also use some more advanced tools that were built for teachers, and that is, utilizing the class notebook features of OneNote. And so because of that, like my notebooks were insanely huge in their file sizes, and so I didn't want my work notebook to be occupying like all the space on my phone, which is why I didn't do it. So what I've done though is for Stream is I've logged out of my work account for my phone for the purposes of the stream. So I'm not necessarily worried about that right now. But you could see the synchronization was pretty impressive. I thought I was expecting there to be more of a delay between when I pasted this image into the Windows 10 version of OneNote and then when we saw it on my phone, but it happened pretty quick. We only had to wait a couple of seconds. So that's definitely good news for those who are looking to do more collaborative things. One of the things that Microsoft has been trying to do with OneNote for the past, I think 3 or 4 years, is they've been trying to really push for OneNote to compete with a lot of the Google products. And one of the things that a classroom notebook could do is they had a collaboration space which used to compete with Google Docs, where like you could have multiple users in the same document. It was horrible in its previous iterations, and the reason why it was horrible is because this synchronization didn't happen fast enough. So what would happen is 2 different people might be drawing or typing in the same exact area on a page, and because the synchronization was not in real time, it was more like live updates, right? So think about the difference between being in a chat room where people are constantly typing and you can see their replies as soon as they send them. And then versus like having the ESPN Gamecast open on your phone and you're trying to pay attention to a football game while you're at a wedding, right? So the Gamecast is going to refresh like every 30 seconds, every 60 seconds, every 15 seconds, whatever you set it to, right? And that's what the collaboration space in OneNote was doing back then, is it was doing like live updates rather than real time. So when two different people were typing different things in the same exact space, and then both of those devices reach that interval where they try to synchronize the changes up to the server, what would happen was the server would see that there are two changes made in the same space, and it didn't know what to do with them. So it would just create like a duplicate page and then indicate that there was some kind of a synchronization error. And it was a huge pain for teachers that were trying to use OneNote to replace Google Documents. And ultimately, I reached a point where me, as somebody who would train teachers in a lot of this instructional technology, I just wouldn't even bother showing teachers how to use a collaboration space because it was so inferior to Google, and it created more headaches, and it created more problems than it solved. So I think what we just saw in this screen clip and how quickly it showed up on my phone is Microsoft might be taking some steps to bridge that gap. And that might be why the Office 2000 or the OneNote 2016 is not going to be upgraded to OneNote 2019. I think that's partially why they're just going to go with the Windows 10 version of OneNote from this point forward. Now, the 2016 version of OneNote will still work right up until Microsoft stops supporting Office 2016. So don't get me wrong, that'll still work if you decide there are features in 2016 that you just can't live without. I can't show you some of those now because, like I said, I don't. This installation of Office didn't bring OneNote with it. At least I don't think it did, because I searched for it. Yeah, it didn't bring OneNote with it. It just brought the standard Office applications. So I'll have to go on between streams and manually install the 2016 version of OneNote onto this new laptop in order for me to demonstrate those differences. So yeah, so those are great questions. Yeah, I appreciate your asking. This is really cool. That I'm learning, and one of the cool things about this is like, so I've done a lot of things with OneNote in stream before. The super duper lazy thing for me to do would be for me to just refer you to some of those other streams. I decided today though, before I went live, I'm like, you know what? If anyone has a OneNote question and I want to redo a demonstration that I've previously streamed, I'm not going to refer to previous streams. You can always go to my YouTube channel and find my playlist if you want to go back and watch a previous stream. But Microsoft updates OneNote so frequently that it's worth just redoing the demo, because I could be pleasantly surprised and learn something new about an update, and how functionality has been added to it. So I'm not gonna necessarily refer to previous streams. Oh yeah, definitely. No, I appreciate you being here. Like I said, this is something I'm starting out small. I don't have a YouTube command. I do have. You know what? Can I add that? I probably can add it. So let me go really quickly. Let me switch to a window that's off monitor here. That's off stream. So let me go to my YouTube playlist. Yeah, so what I have then is, and I'll add a command right now. What I've been trying to do is archive all of my streams into a playlist, and I'll do a command to, except I don't know what I'm doing right now because I'm in the creator studio. I just want to go to my YouTube channel and find my playlist. So just give me a moment and I'll go ahead and add a command right now. And let me just fetch the link that it needs. Here it is, right here. Replays of my stream. Okay, so let's get this link into the command. Find replays. Previous streams here. I think. Let's try that now. Yeah. We could do that, couldn't we? If you want to get really fancy, you can have a OneNote command for the OneNote playlist on YouTube. Yeah, I could do that too. But there's the playlist, and this video will go up in there as well. In the meantime, I forgot what I was going to do next. Oh yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate you being here. Oh, you know what we need to do? We need to answer this question, don't we? So let's go back to Khan Academy, put a 1 in here. That was like 20 minutes ago by now. And then we can go on to the next question. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe we go straight to the challenge question. Let's do that. I'm going to go Windows Shift S. We're going to copy this challenge problem in here. Oh no, you're not distracting me at all. Like, you're the reason why I'm doing this. This is, yeah. Like, I want to be interrupted, so I'm basically just going through Khan Academy to fill space, right? So when I don't have people asking questions in the stream, like, this is what I'm going to be doing. But when I have people asking questions in the stream, I want to be answering those questions. So no, I appreciate, it's not a distraction at all. It's just me not knowing what to do next, because in my mind I had a plan, and then I just lost it when it was time to actually do it. So, and I get excited sometimes. You know, I get excited when I discover something new. So it certainly was really cool for us to have discovered that. Yeah, and it looks like every time my phone goes to sleep, the visor just loses its connection. I think it was just super cool that you asked about the mobile app, and I just happened to have installed it a couple of days ago just in case somebody asked a question about it in stream, and then we just, like I said, I discovered something new. And here it is, just like clockwork. We just pasted a new page, and then there it is on my phone again. So I'm super excited about that. And what we could do next is, since you're asking about mobile apps, is I think once we answer this question, I'm going to end the Khan Academy stuff, because I do want to end my stream in about 15 minutes here. But I do want to show you, oops, I got you the other app that I recommend. So let's do this one Khan Academy question. I'm going to show you what Office Lens can do for us, and then we're going to call it a night. So, okay, so let's go through and do this. And actually, let's do this on my phone. So screw all this other stuff. Minimize you. Go back to my phone. And let's do this on the phone like we had done before. Okay, are we ready here? So we're going to go into the pen mode again. So we've got 2 fingers to scroll. And let's switch colors. Why not? Let's take orange. Always liked orange as a kid. E times E minus 5E. And then E is 5. Okay, so we're going to plug in 5. So this is going to be 5 times 5 minus 5 times 5. And then we're going to follow order of operations. And if you're curious, maybe you are, maybe you're not. Okay, and this is just, again, me on a tangent, right? If you're curious, let's work the other way around. So I'm going to have the Windows 10 version of OneNote opened, and we're going to see how quickly my scribbles from my phone make it onto the other app. Let's... Yeah, PEMDAS. No. You don't think. You know. You know PEMDAS. So this is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to follow the PEMDAS rules. The multiplication comes first. So 5 times 5 makes 25. And 5 times 5 makes 25. Both of those multiplications will take priority. Yeah, you got this, right? So really, anything minus itself, we're ready to subtract now, is 0. And so we're ready. And that's pretty cool. Like, I wasn't even watching, but that's like, it happened like as soon as, as I break my keyboard, it happens like as soon as I let go of it. So let's go and erase that squiggle. I'm super excited that the synchronization happens that fast. Okay, so that's going to be another topic in another stream. Um, yeah, super stoked about that. So yeah, so great job. Oops, I got you. Remembering the old order of operations acronym. Let's go back to Khan Academy and answer this question. This is 0. We got it right. So Khan Academy saves your progress by default, so I can just close it, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. We're actually gonna, while we're here, we're gonna go to OneNote Online. So I'm in a web browser now, right? So I got a lot of things open. Here's my phone. Here's OneNote, Windows 10. Here is OneNote Online. Okay. Now let me make sure I'm in the right notebook here. I'm in Live with Glitter. Okay, so we're gonna go to Live with Glitter. And let's resize this window. Yes, you should be proud of yourself. Oops, I got you. I'm proud of you. I'm super proud of you. Come on in. I'm almost done. We're just doing some really cool stuff right now. Okay, so I got 3 versions of OneNote here. All right, so in the upper right, I've got, and I know there's a shortcut. I think I can just kind of toggle this here to put a, yeah, there we go, quadrant. Toggle this here. I don't know what just happened. What did I just do? I just broke the internet. Okay. This didn't do what I thought it would do. And then I've got my phone. So I got all this stuff going on here. And you're going to see like the content all push itself to the same online asset. Okay, so again, we're going to do this from the phone since you were asking about a phone, right? So let's go back into our tools here. Let's switch color pens. Let's go pink because we all need a little pink in our lives. So we're going to say great job. Oops, I got you. And I'm looking at my phone so I can't see the other window. Oh, look at this. Oops, and I didn't mean to do that. Oops. Oh, that was supposed to be capitalized, isn't it? It is a capital G. Let's get your username correct. Is it capital U? Yes, it is. Yeah. Phenomenal. Yeah, they all update. I'm impressed. Okay, this did not previously, like as recently as September, the update didn't happen that fast. So I think Microsoft is really working hard, and especially with this version of OneNote, the 2000, I keep seeing 2000, the Windows 10 version of OneNote. Since that's going to be the prime version going forward, and then the online version will continue to be supported. Oh, oops is fine. Okay, so we'll just call you oops. But yeah, this is super impressive. So let's do one more thing here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I don't think we need my, yeah, we do need my phone, but we need a different app. So I'm going to exit OneNote. I'm going to, let's maximize this, but we actually don't need it anymore. We'll leave it open. And then we're going to add another page here. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you what Office Lens does. Oops. And I think what Office Lens can give us is definitely something everybody should have. It's there's no reason why anybody should not have the Office Lens app installed on their phone. So, I need a document. So hang on, I'm gonna go grab a book. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab a cookbook. I'll be right back. Oops. All right, so we just cooked out of this. My daughter and I just made the Gordon Ramsay's. What did we make? His lobster spaghetti last night, and then we had leftovers tonight for dinner. Absolutely delicious. So let's get the phone on the screen here so you can see what's happening. All right, so I made a page in the notebook. So we're just, and again, this is going to be a synchronization thing. So let me move my Wacom. Oh, it was delicious. It was delicious. Let me show you the picture real quick. I should put it in because doesn't Radiant have a food porn channel? Radiant has a food porn channel, doesn't he? Hang on, I just lost Streamlabs. Dang it, I keep clicking the wrong window. Yeah, I should probably just put this in Radiant's food porn channel, because it was so good. Yeah, so the lobster spaghetti. Oh, goodness. And it wasn't even the best lobster. It was previously frozen lobster, but it was good enough. You know, I live in the Northwest, so you know, lobster's not necessarily the seafood that we have best access to. Crab is better out here than it is like in New England. So I'll yield that lobster's better in New England. But yeah, it was delicious, and it was my daughter's idea. My 11-year-old daughter was the one who wanted to make it, so this is her posing next to our creation. So she helped make it, and she actually thoroughly enjoyed it. So here's what I want to do, because I loved this recipe. Okay, so let's bring up the phone again so you can see what's going on here. Okay, so I'm going to open up the book. Let me move my Wacom tablet out of the way. I'm going to open up to that recipe. For the people that have never seen this, it absolutely blows their mind. Absolutely. Absolutely blows their mind. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to launch Office Lens. It's a free install. You don't have to have an Office 365 subscription. If you have a Microsoft account, this will work fabulously with it. And this has been regularly updated throughout the years as well. Okay, so what it is it's a scanning app. But it does a little more than most scanning apps. So I'm going to take the lobster spaghetti recipe. Here it is here in the picture. But I'm interested in the text. So forgive, there's a pretty substantial delay on my phone display here when I'm in video mode. So you can see Office Lens. I'm in document mode here. So let me, you can also scan a whiteboard. You can also scan a business card. We're not going to do business card, or you can just straight up take a photo. But I actually want... Uh-oh. My phone display is pretty far behind. In fact, I'm wondering if I'm disconnected. Yeah, a whiteboard, yeah. So if you're actually in a classroom and you fell behind in the notes for one reason or another, you could use this app to just scan what the teacher had put on the whiteboard. So, okay, so let me do this. So you can see the edges here, see the orange borders? It's trying to detect the edges of a document since I have it in document mode, and when I tell it to capture, yeah, forgive me, the display is pretty far behind. Yeah, so at work, right? And my scan's a little blurry, and it might be because of the lighting in my room, so I'm a little bit worried that this isn't going to do or be as spectacular as I want it to be. But we're gonna do our best. And I'm just waiting for my display to catch up because I have the Visor app, which is what I'm using to display my phone. It's set to a high quality resolution, but it's possibly a bad idea for when I'm actually using a camera app on the phone because it's like a minute behind. So you could see there right there. It just tapped screen. And I don't want to get too far ahead here, so I'm going to go into the save portion here. This is possibly going to take like a minute. Oh no, there we go. Okay, so now watch. I don't want nothing to do with the gallery. I don't want to actually store this on my phone. So there are several places where I can store this. Yeah, and you could see there that it cropped pretty nicely and it's straightened. So I'm gonna go into OneNote, but I can tell it specifically where to save. So when I open this menu here, we're gonna go to the Live with Glitter notebook, and I'm gonna go to, what section am I in? Live Intervention. And when I click OK, I'm going to verify here that indeed it's the Live Intervention section, and I'm going to click Save. And I want you to watch this column right here, where all the page names are in OneNote. You can see, you're going to be able to see here. When this saves, it should fairly quickly show up here. So it's making the transfer right now. And there it is right here. I don't bother renaming them because it gives a timestamp, so it's December 17th and then 7:29 p.m. So that's good enough for me. Yeah, it's pretty blurry. I'm not happy with that, but we're gonna run with it. Because you want to know a secret? Oops. So I'm certified in special ed, and one of the things that's important is access. And look what Microsoft has done with OneNote. Now that I have this page open, it has text on it, and I'm going to go to the View menu, and I'm going to click on the Immersive Reader. This might not work because the scan wasn't very good, but it might. Yeah, it wasn't so good. Yeah, it was a bad picture. Okay, so let me try to retake it just one more time real quick. I'm not going to put my phone up on the stream. Let me just see if I can get a better scan. And maybe I had a greasy fingerprint on my camera lens, so let me wipe off my lens and see if I can get a big... And I'm going to turn up the light. Actually, I can't turn up the light. I have all the lights on. Okay, so let me just see if I can get a better picture. Yeah, I don't like this one. That's blurry. Yeah, I probably should have thought to turn my flash on, but you're smarter than me, so didn't work that way. I did get a better scan though, so I'm going to delete this one. And then here comes a new one. Yeah, turn on your flash. Yeah, turn on your flash. Yeah, I could have turned on my flash. It's in the app. There's a setting there for you to turn the flash on. So, yeah, obviously you not all of us know everything about technology, and so clearly I should have turned the flash on. Okay, so we're waiting for the new page to show up here. Any minute. Oh, come on. Yes, we will learn together. Okay, so here's the new file. It's a better scan. I'm going to launch the Immersive Reader again, and let's see what happens. Whoa, that's pretty bad. I have no idea why these... there are characters in many languages here. Multiple languages. Okay, so let me show you what the Immersive Reader is supposed to do. I'm going to isolate and change themes, depending on your visual needs. We're going to turn on... actually, you know what? This is poor form, so let me do... Yeah, it is really nice, but I think I need a better set of texts to demonstrate from. So let me just go to Wikipedia. And since I was in the Hell's Kitchen cookbook, we're just going to look up Hell's Kitchen. Yes, you do get it, but it's there's still more to it though. Here we go. Okay, so let's go to the Gordon Ramsay Hell's Kitchen. I promise you, this is a showstopper. So I'm going to just copy some text from the internet. So let's copy this, and let's just paste it into one. And I'll show you how this might work in Office Lens as well. So let me just delete this page. That failed. I'm going to paste right here, and we're going to go back into the Immersive Reader. Okay, so what we get is not only this format where like the rest of the computers can be very distracting when we're trying to learn, so it isolates the text to help us focus. It lets us change and format it. So you can pick one of 3 different fonts. These fonts were all chosen specifically because they're the most responsive fonts to those who suffer from learning disabilities like dyslexia. And then you can change the thematic color according to any of your visual needs. I prefer the black background. Check this out. Oops. With just a click of the mouse, show me all the nouns, the verbs, the adjectives. Like, it's going to color code everything. This is amazing. Like, if you have a coworker or if you have a classmate that's perhaps doesn't speak English as their first language and is learning English, but is trying to take a college course, this is amazing. And last but not least, there's a play button here. Why? Well, because
Hell's Kitchen is an American reality competition television series based on the British series of the same name. Broadcast on Fox, it is hosted by celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay. 2 teams of chefs compete for a job as head chef at a restaurant.
Kid you not.
A typical episode begins with a challenge between the teams. The winning team gets some sort of a reward that usually involves some sort of recreation.
So, and then the other things you can do is you can, so if you really have trouble, you can do a line focus. So tell it to show us just 3 lines at a time. Tell it to show us just 1 letter. Then you see how it'll give the visual isolation, or just go back to to turning it off. I kid you not. Now, let's go back. Yeah, let's go back to the phone for a moment. Okay? There's something I still have to cover here. There's something I still have to cover here. And that's this. So let me go back. Let me go back to the Wikipedia page. I don't want to try to cheat the system here, but what I want to do is I'm going to zoom in. So let's Control plus, zoom way in on this text. Sorry, Wikipedia. It's Christmas shopping season. We don't have money to donate to you. So I'm in at 175% zoom. So, okay, we're not going to bother with the flash, but I am going to take, sorry, you can't see this. So I'm going to go back to my phone here. And off screen, okay? I'm just going to go off screen here. Let's just capture the same text on my phone. And I hope all of those digital lines don't interfere too badly with it. So we can adjust the cropping edges. And actually don't need... Okay, so let's see how that does. And what I'm hoping for, oops, is, oh, your husband's a teacher. 7th grade social studies. This could change his world if he's got students with disabilities. I promise you he's probably been in a training where somebody's mentioned the Immersive Reader and didn't bother showing them what it was, because so many people just say, oh, use the Immersive Reader. Anyone who knows what this actually does wouldn't just say it without showing the teachers. But it happens all the time nowadays. People just casually mention the Immersive Reader. So I got all these lines from the digital display, which I hope don't cause too big of a problem. So let's do this. I'm trying to minimize. Okay, so let's. All I want is the phone now. Okay, this we're not looking at OneNote 2000 Windows 10 anymore. Okay, I'm just doing this on my phone. So what we just showed you. In fact, let's put the phone away, and just the amazing thing that was the Immersive Reader. All right, so that's not what we're looking at right now. I am just using my phone. Okay, and at this stage where I can select where to save it, we're going to scroll down to the bottom. Look right here. This Immersive Reader was built right into the Office Lens app. So let's hope it works. I did this in stream when I first learned about this, and it failed so badly on in some situations. And you can see it did misread some of the characters, and it was because when we looked at the scan, it was kind of bad. But
series of the same name are two teams of chefs. Kitchen, while the losers are given a task. The second part is a dinner, serve E, WHE
so
acute, E under close and hypercritical super E 9I8H getting.
So this missed some of the text recognition because the scan itself like had some of those I forgot what they're called, the interlacing lines that were shown because I took a picture of a digital display. But I did do this. There was one moment in stream, I think it was back in October, where I went to the Red Dead Redemption Wikipedia page, and it read the paragraph perfectly, and it was just because I happened to take a good scan of the screen. So it could be off screen, it could be from a textbook, it could be from a lot of things. And I'll try this one more time from the phone, just because I think I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't show an instance where it actually worked. And see, this was the problem with the character recognition, was all of these interlacing lines from the fact that I took a picture of a digital display. So I'm going to try going back to the book, and I'm going to try just, and first of all, let's turn the flash on. And there's a little spaghetti sauce on the book, so that might mess us up a little bit. So I only want these recipe instructions. So I'm going to crop the rest of the page out. I'm really hoping this works because, like I said, when I first learned about this, I did it in stream and it was very mixed success. Texts that I thought would be problematic because like the pages were bent and things like that, like read perfectly, and then other pages where the picture looked great, like ended up not reading at all. So I'm gonna see what happens here. Ooh, and we had a little bit of flashback. Okay, so let's take that again. I think that's going to be much better. I'm hoping. So I'm just adjusting the cropping points because you can isolate a specific part of the text, which is what we're trying to do. And yeah, I was just a little bit worried about that little flashback in the last paragraph. And let's launch this. So I'm liking how this looks right now, and I'm going to go ahead and advance to the save screen, and we're going to go to the Immersive Reader. And let me turn my volume way up on the phone. Because your husband, like if a kid, like I'm sure your husband probably has ELL students in his class, and if they can't read a text passage, like they could totally plug in their earbuds and do this, right? So I'm gonna take the phone and hit play. Right here, I'm just gonna hit play and just hold the phone up to the microphone.
A large bowl of ice water in a large pot of boiling water. Cook the LOBQCRS for about 10-12 minutes.
So it misread lobsters, which is fine.
Remove the lobsters from the water and transfer to the bowl of ice water to stop the cooking process.
When cooled, remove the meat from the tails, claws, and knuckles. Discard the shells and pop the lobsters into bite-sized pieces. Bring a large pot of salted water to a boil. Add the spaghetti and cook until al dente, stirring often to prevent the pasta from sticking together. While the pasta is cooking,
So now you get the point there, right? So this is amazing. I can't believe like how many educators are in training, a room full of teachers at a professional development thing, and they just casually mention the immersive reader and they don't show people what it freaking does. It is a free app. Yep, it's a free app. Yeah, and everybody should have it. Like really, right? Everybody should have it. One of the things you can even do too is especially like if it's work, right? And you have an Office 365 account from work, and you frequently find yourself wanting to take pictures of things for work purposes, but then you don't want the work pictures in your gallery on your phone because it's your phone, and work's not going to issue you a phone. One of the things you can do is you can just launch Office Lens, put it in photo mode, right? Here, let me do this real quick, and let's bring a window back up. So I'm going to exit. I'm going to go into a different Officers. I'm going to go into my OneDrive. Oh, and Radiant being, you are dope as fuck. And just as Oops is dope as fuck. Can it do speech to text? I think OneNote does that. I think the OneNote app does that. Okay, so let's do one thing before we, and if you don't mind, that could be the last thing we do is we can try to do speech to text. I will tell you though, as a caveat, Google's speech to text is probably better, but we can try it in OneNote. We'll try it in OneNote. Let me do this one thing first. So I'm gonna go back and just okay, let's delete this image. Let's switch this. We're just gonna put this in photo mode, okay? And let's just take a picture of the book with a flash on. Flash on, right? Oops. And when we're ready to save this, I'm going to just pick my OneDrive, okay? And again, so this is a scenario where you work somewhere where you have an Office 365 subscription. You frequently would want to take pictures with your phone, or maybe even occasionally. But then you don't want to store the phone or the picture on your phone. So keep in mind, as long as you don't select the gallery, it's not going to save the picture onto your phone, right? I'm going to pick OneDrive, and as long as the phone has an internet connection, could be a mobile connection. It could be with Google stuff. Okay. Well, we can do that too in another stream. Google Drive does the exact same thing as what we're doing right here, just not with the Immersive Reader. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so I'm going to pick OneDrive and I'm going to click Save. And what you can see here behind us, this other window is I'm logged into my OneDrive account. And at some point in time, I'm probably going to have to hit refresh. So let me hit refresh now. Oh, no, don't do that. Dang it. Oh. I just closed the tab. I was trying to resize the window, but I know how to open recently closed. Okay, there we go. Sorry, chat. I was had a techie moment there. That's okay though. Okay, what are we doing? I'm waiting for it to transfer. I think it's going to show up in pictures, and there's probably an Office Lens folder that gets created. I'm guessing. Nope, right here in Office Lens. Let's see. There it is, with the timestamp. What was the timestamp? But yeah, there it is right there. And it was 2 minutes ago. 2 minutes ago. So right as I was accidentally closing all the tabs. So yeah, and then so what that is it gets stored in your OneDrive space, and then you can attach it to an email from Outlook. And so we were going to do one more thing, and that was speech to text. Okay, let's try. Let's go back to OneNote. And I promise you, this is the last. You guys are awesome, by the way. Thank you for being here. We're going to go back to OneNote on the phone. We are going to. Oh, hang on. Let me let my phone display catch up here. Actually, you know what? I don't want to wait for it, so let's close it and reopen it. Let's close it and reopen it. And so we're going to close the pen tool. It's not what we want. Okay, so I don't want to cheat here. Actually, it's not cheating, okay? We can compare Google to Microsoft right here. I hate Nightbot. I'm fine with caps. Like, I need to go in and slap Nightbot. Okay, so we're going to do two things. We're going to start with Microsoft. So you see there's two microphones here, okay? Well, what happened here? Am I still online? Oh, man. Yeah, see, my phone keeps losing its connection divisor. I might need to lower the resolution quality. So you see two microphones here, right? So this microphone is OneNote's speech to text. This microphone is built into Gboard, which is the Google's keyboard that is pre-installed on a lot of phones, but you can actually install it both on iOS and Android. It's just Gboard, right? And Gboard has Google's speech recognition built into it. And Google's speech recognition is pretty freaking awesome if you've never used it. So let's compare it to Microsoft's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the first sentence. I'm going to read the second sentence. I'm going to read the third sentence of a paragraph from this cookbook. So and I'm not going to be forgiving. I'm going to read it fast or natural. Okay. Oops, allow OneNote to record audio. Oops, stop. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted, you bastard. You lied to us, OneNote. Okay, so this wasn't a speech to text thing. This was insert an audio note, which is great. It's not what I wanted, though. So let's just go. So I guess the answer then, oops, is yes, speech to text if you just do it from your keyboard and on your phone. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. So let's be very unforgiving. And in fact, I'm going to read the whole paragraph. Prepare a large bowl of ice water, period. In a large pot of boiling water, comma, cook the lobsters for about 10 to 12 minutes, period. Remove the lobsters from the water and transfer to the bowl of ice water to stop the cooking process, period. And how did it do? How did it do? Here, dismiss the keyboard. Prepare. Okay, let me read it again here. Did it get the whole thing? And I spit on my phone. That's kind of gross. I was so excited. So I'm going to read the whole thing here. Yep, prepare a large bowl of ice water, period, right? In a large pot of boiling. That was phenomenal. I'm not even seeing you guys' banter. You guys are awesome. Great job. Oh, look at that. All caps. I'm sorry, oops. I don't know. Radiant had told me about a month ago that Nightbot is weird about spamming in caps and stuff. Yeah, I sprayed on my phone. Yeah, you can't see it in stream though because it's. But no, speech to text. Oops, but through the keyboard on your phone, I would say. And if you have an iPhone, you can. I don't know what the speech to text keyboard is like on the default iOS keyboard. I don't even know if the iOS keyboard has speech to text, but you can install Gboard on an iPhone. And the cool thing about Gboard is it does, well, I'd say that's the coolest thing about the Gboard is that it has this super awesome speech recognition. So yeah, okay, so you don't use it. Okay, so I don't know if it's any good on iPhone, but yeah, you could give it a shot and then get back to us on a later stream. That's gonna wrap for me though. Thank you for being here, everybody. Like the two of you rock, Radiant and Oops. You're the best. This is phenomenal. So, to as a recap, we started off and look at all we did today. So we started off just doing some stuff on Khan Academy until people started asking questions, and then this is awesome. Then we started getting questions, and we started doing some other things and learning about the synchronization between all of the parts of OneNote. So this part was what the thing I learned that I was most impressed with is Microsoft has really reduced the latency between all of the assets synchronizing between all three versions of OneNote. The app, um, the online version, and then the Windows 10 version. So those all happen with relatively little latency. We did some stuff with Office Lens. I showed us the Immersive Reader. Didn't work so well when we tried to scan text out of a book. Did not work so well off screen. There are ways you can improve that though. So we'll get into that next time to how to kind of fight through some of the scanning issues or challenges with Office Lens. And then we did some speech to text. So here's the audio note that I'm going to go ahead and delete because we actually didn't need it. And here was a speech to text container that we had just put in as a last action of the night for the stream. And thank you both for being here. I would host somebody, but I failed at that the last time I tried to do it. So, thank you for everyone for tuning in. I think I go live again on Wednesday, and it'll be the same thing. I'm going to just, if I have people asking questions, we'll address questions. They could be math related, or they could just be like sort of ed tech things. Oops, definitely. If your husband has questions, definitely have your husband at the helm or tuned in on Wednesday if he wants to learn more about how this might interact with stuff that he does in his social studies class. Was it social studies you said he taught? I think it was social studies you said, right? 7th grade? Yeah. Yeah, because we're all losing the cell phone battle in schools. Oh, wow, look at that. My chat is... I can't scroll up far enough to see it because of all the spam. You guys are hilarious, though. And I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, definitely, if your husband has questions, yeah, definitely have him ask. Because there are some important opportunities that, the teachers who say that there's no place for a phone in my classroom, like, wake the fuck up, right? Unless you're like, this ain't France, right? So in France just enacted a law in August that like really just made it illegal for a student that's not 16 or older to have their phone out at school at any time. So this ain't France, right? Like, and in America, we're losing this battle. So it's like, it's not about like having students put the phone away. It's about teaching them how to utilize it to enhance their learning rather than distract from it. So yeah, if your husband doesn't mind students at least occasionally, if not frequently, having their phones out, then yeah, I can answer any of his questions right here in stream. Free professional development. So you're awesome. Thank you. Oh yeah. It's a problem. I'm not delusional about like mobile phones in classrooms. It's a huge problem, and we're all trying to figure out ways to navigate it as teachers. But yeah, you guys have a great night. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Thank you for the host, Radiant. Thank you for being here, Radiant. Thank you for being here, Oops, and thank you for asking plenty of questions. This is exactly what I was looking to do with the stream, and so I need to go in the background and do some aggressive promotion on my channel here. But in the meantime, I love just being able to just kind of focus on one person's questions. So yeah, you guys have a great night. I'm going to go read to the kids. Actually, we're going to eat dessert first. Then I'm going to read to the kids. And then, we will see you all on Wednesday. Or I might see you guys in Radiant stream if he's streaming tomorrow.